Hey, I'm AG. Welcome to this week's blog. Well, this week I want to talk about things that have been left out of some of your classes. You know, it's very interesting because I was involved with some conversations with people saying, you know, what makes UTD so special and different, and you know, I was wrapping my head around this and I was saying, you know, one of the biggest things is so many topics and so many things have been left out and distilled out of the other classes taught by other agencies out there. It's actually quite amazing. It's almost infuriating, actually. Some of them are, you know, basic academic topics like gas management. How do I calculate, you know, basic gas management that, you know, in an open water class should be taught from the beginning. Hey, how do I calculate what my gas consumption rate is? And if I'm going to 60 feet or 18 meters, how long should this, you know, 1,000 PSI or, you know, 100 bar last me? You know, subjects like that, not taught in open water. It's kind of like, hey, just check out for that red needle, or when the gauge hits the red needle, thumb to your, you know, guide and he'll take you up. Now these are self-contained underwater, you know, divers. You know that's why it's called Scuba, is because we are teaching you not to be led, but to be actually self-sufficient underwater. And I would hope that when you take your open water training, or your advanced, or whatever levels you want to call it, we call it Rec 1, Rec 2, whatever, you would end up with a good wealth of information and knowledge. I mean, for example, you know, one of the things that have been forgotten out of open water class is deploying an SMB, a surface marker buoy. I would say 99% of classes taught out there open water do not teach this basic safety pieces of equipment. This surface marker buoy, you need to carry a safety equipment. So when you need to ascend and you don't want a haircut from a boat, you don't want to be out there in Catalina in the dive park, accidentally you swim outside the dive park, now you start ascending, you don't have a surface marker buoy, and the boat comes right over you and gives you a nice haircut. That's actually happened here in California quite a lot. And in many places like in Florida, that's required that you carry one of these and you'd be able to deploy one of these. Yet it's not taught in an open water class. Something like even maybe a backward kick. And a backward kick is not so much that you move backwards rapidly at the speed at which, you know, you would swim forward, but it's much more positioning kick, so that you can actually position yourself, whether you're setting up for a photograph, or you're aiding a teammate in some kind of a maneuver, or you're holding on to, you know, the camera while you're filming. You don't want to have to use your hands to back up or keep position. And you see a lot of this in open water classes. Whereas if you learned the proper technique of doing the backward positioning kick and ultimately backward kick where you move backwards, you know, then what would happen is you would actually be able to maintain position, be able to donate, be able to aid a teammate, be able to take pictures, and have a lot more skill. And so many of these basics have been left out of classes, if you can believe it. You take an open water class or an advanced class, they don't teach you how to do this. You're ascending from, in an advanced class, in a Rec 2 class, you learn to ascend from 100 feet, from 30 meters, and they don't teach the basics of an SMB. And this is what's so unique about UTD, is these are drilled into you from day one, from minute one. You know, things like positioning, trim, buoyancy, you know, deploying SMBs, gas management, understanding decompression theory, and so forth. And you know what the best part is we at UTD, one of the things we've done is we've created something called a mini. A mini is like a workshop, okay? It's not a certification class. And what it does is it allows you to take a one-day class and fill in what you didn't learn in these other classes. Isn't that great? So let's say you take your open water class, you're like, man, they never taught me to do an SMB. How do I do it? Sure, you go to YouTube and watch a bunch of videos, and then blah, 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 and your learning curve might be a month. Or you can take a one-day mini from a UTD instructor. Now, what's cool about it is they are trained properly. They are not only trained to evaluate you, but give you, to coach you, to teach you, and to shorten your learning curve. That's why you take classes. Not for another C-card, another patch on your shoulder, or maybe, I don't know, maybe that's what you guys want, but if I take a class, you know, like I take a guitar class, I don't take it for certification. I take guitar from a coach, from somebody who's going to teach me, who's going to give me the techniques, who's going to give me the shortcuts, who's going to give me, you know, his or her years and years and years and years of playing guitar in a shortened period of time, so that I can learn a particular song or a particular technique. In this case, let's say it's an SMB. So the Mini, for example, what you would do is you get your online materials. They're super cheap. They're like 39 bucks. And what in there would be all the things that, the whys and the hows, and, you know, which one to choose, and, you know, do I want an orange versus yellow, and which pocket do I put it in, how do I carry it, and how do I set it up, and blah, 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 all the shortcut stuff, right? Then, of course, you would attend the class, and during the class you would do dry runs with your instructor. So your instructor for a couple of hours actually sits there and shows you. You want to take it with not your right hand, and I won't explain why, but I'll let you guys think about that question. Why don't I hold this in my right hand? Why do I hold this in my left hand? Let me think about that. So this is the kinds of things that you go through. You know, all the dry running, we discuss all the technique. Then, of course, we go out, and during this mini or workshop, you actually go out and you demonstrate it to your instructor. They will show you how in the water. Then you actually practice yourself. And you believe me, there's a lot to it. You think you just simply pull this out your pocket, and then you do this, and then you undo this, and then all of a sudden this thing drops all over the place, and you're like, oh, the string's all over. We can shorten that learning curve. And I know this is just SMB, but even with something like backward kick, same thing. Most of you watch videos, you go, okay, I just push my legs back and I do this, right? Isn't that what I just do like that? Then you go and you struggle in the pool for hours, and so you watch another YouTube, and then hours and hours of struggling and struggling. You take a mini, and we can shorten that learning curve. We can bring that learning curve down to a couple of hours, 2-3 hours of dry runs, 2-3 hours of pool work, and bam, you're now a backward kicker. You know, and it's not so much, again, that you can kick across the parking lot backwards, or you can kick, you know, swim backwards while waving at your buddy swimming forwards. That's not the idea. The idea is to learn proper positioning, and by doing it with a qualified instructor who's going to show you the little techniques that you need, all of a sudden the learning curve will be shortened, and within a few short hours you'll have down these techniques. And these classes really are not expensive. They are one-day gigs. They're like, you know, $100, something like that. I mean, some of the best ones we have are ESM, Extreme Scuba Makeover. What an incredible class just to get you going. And again, it's not a class, it's a mini. It's a one-day thing. So it's a couple of hours of dry runs, and get you in the water, get you flat, get you trim, get you in position. You know, so we've got a whole variety of these minis that are not certification classes that will fill in the holes. Things you missed. I mean, how many of you out there have taken a nitrous class, but in that class you never had to demonstrate how to deal with a toxin diver? Raise your hand, all of you, because I know some of those nitrous classes are taught online right now. You can get a nitrox online certification. Never demonstrating to an instructor that you're able to analyze gas, that you're able to dive within your MOD, that you're able to rescue somebody who's suffering an oxygen toxicity. So yes, we offer a mini for that. We offer a class that allows you to learn the techniques of unconscious diver and toxin diver techniques. So that way you can practice those. And you can practice those under supervision, and you can get critical feedback. Your instructor will sit with you with a video and film you doing it, and then sit with you afterwards and go through and say, notice, during the toxin diver, you didn't have your hand like this, pushing the button like this, like that, whatever you're supposed to be doing. You know? And again, yeah, you can watch a million YouTube videos. I can watch a million YouTube videos of learning to play guitar too. But the difference is, when I actually went to an instructor and they took the time and they coached me and they invested in me, okay, I got the value out. I was like, wow, yes, I'm paying $40 an hour for, well, it was actually $40 for half an hour of guitar lessons. But the point being, that half an hour, I learned more in that half an hour than I learned in, 6 days watching YouTube videos. And that's the point of education. Not another C card, not another patch on the shoulder, but actually learning, quality information that is disseminated to you in a way that the instructor invests in you. And the best part about these minis is they also give you a great introduction to UTD, to that instructor. Not a lot of financial commitment on your part or anything like that. You go there, you take a day, you learn from them, you see how much they invest in you, you see how much they invest in teaching you, in not just like, good job, divers, and off they go. No. They actually sit down and go through meticulously with you how and what you did right and wrong so that you can improve and coach along and you can become a better scuba diver. And that's really what it's about. So these minis, like I said, fill in a lot of the gaps that many of you have taken classes from other agencies and you just don't learn. Toxing diver and a nitrox class, can you believe it? The most important skill forgotten about. You know, something like SMB deployed in your advanced class. I bet you didn't learn that. I mean, crazy stuff like that. But good for you and been great for us. We actually have thought about this and have produced these minis that you can now go and take from a qualified UTD instructor and really learn a very specific type of information. If you have any questions about our classes or minis or anything like that, feel free to email us at info@unifiedteamdiving. And as always, gang, safe diving.